Hi, I'm Melissa Hunter, known to most of YouTube as Mommy from a show that used to be called The Mommy and Gracie Show a long time ago. And I am here today, I'm fixing my notes on my desk here. I made notes to talk to you about homeschooling. So you might suddenly find yourself a homeschooler. And that can be a little daunting and a little scary, especially when it's not only for a couple of weeks, it could be for the rest of the school year, depending on how things go, and where you live could be for the rest of the calendar year. So it's kind of scary. And so how the heck are you going to do this? What should you do? And you're already probably, there's power struggles, there's probably tension between you and your kids. So I'm here to try and help. We began homeschooling rather than sending our child to middle school. So at the end of 5th grade, we went to the middle school orientation. Note that we have a child with high functioning autism and Asperger's, who is also gender nonconforming. So, you know, middle school was gonna not be good. But we went to the middle school orientation because we had not considered homeschooling. And I was just so not impressed with middle school. And then because we're YouTubers, we met a bunch of people that summer who homeschool. And we were like, tell me more about this homeschooling thing that you do. So I'm going to share with you what I learned, because it was a big learning curve, because I went from having a kid that went to school every day and, you know, got great grades, you know, socially was a disaster, but, you know, just getting straight A's but, you know, at the end of the day, really didn't seem to be learning anything except some new kind of math. And for some reason, they never learned history, like weather. They didn't really learn a lot. I was very confused, but they learned all the Common Core stuff. So here's what I learned, and I'm going to teach you from my mistakes. So the first thing that you should do is you should do something which is called, in the world of homeschooling, when you go from school, regular school, to homeschooling, is to de-school. The heck is de-schooling? So it's to take a little breather, to get out of the habits and the thought processes and the structures of the school day. So that could be just like, you know, like being, what do you do when you're on vacation from school, right? Like the kids wear their pajamas all day, you know, just de-school, okay? Like make it chill out for a little bit. Then the next thing to do is to, if the school has sent home work that you need to somehow send back, if they've set up distance learning, that doesn't have to be done at specific times. Take a look at your children and when they are at their most alert or most receptive to learning. So how the heck do I do that? Well, try having them do their schoolwork at different times in the day and observe when they seem to do the best. When are they the most motivated? When are the arguments less? And you will find out where and when and how your child learns and does schoolwork best. And so then, you know, that's your time. That's your time on your plan for the day. That's the time that your kid does now. And you know this as a person, right? I am a morning person. If I need to do anything that involves having to do math or accounting or anything, you know, that I need to use my analytical skills, I've got to do that first thing in the morning. That's when my brain is the best at doing those kinds of things. Okay, morning, overall, I'm a morning person, but for doing the analytical stuff, morning is my time. When I have to do things like accounting for my company and payroll, I got to get up first thing in the morning, have my tea, and do it and get it done. So observe when is your child most able to engage in those types of tasks. Now, it might be that math in the morning is what works for your child, but then you give them a break, and then like in the afternoon, languages and reading, that's when they're at their creative best. Or it might be the opposite. Also, if you don't have to stick to a set schedule that your school is prescribing for you for some reason, give them lots of breaks, because one of the first things you're going to figure out is that you can get through a day's worth of schoolwork in like a couple of hours when the child is not actually in a classroom. So much of classroom time is spent stopping what we're currently doing, putting everything away. Now get out what we're going to work on, waiting for everybody to get out the right thing, or getting online, staying quiet, getting offline, putting our stuff away, moving from this section of the classroom to this section of the classroom. When we talk to our child about, so what do you do on a typical day? There's so much wasted time. So you're also going to find out that no matter what you do, there's no way your kid is going to be spending 6 hours a day doing school. No homeschooler is going to spend 6 hours a day doing schoolwork. You'll be lucky if you get 2 hours, okay? And then they're going to be done. But that doesn't mean that school is over, okay? But feel free to space it out. You don't have to do school from like 9 to 11. Okay, we're going to do 20 minutes of math. We're going to do, that's my alarm that tells me that it's time to make pancakes for my teenager. 11 o'clock in the morning, because that's when he wakes up. We're going to get to that. So figure it out. Give breaks. When do they learn best? Chill. A lot of this is going to be about chill. Also, take this opportunity to realize that the beauty of homeschooling is that everything is the classroom. Your whole home, your whole life, everything you do is education for your child. You know, before school, which by the way, schools were started so that people could have a standardized set of skills so that they could go be capable workers in factories. Just saying. So before that, how did people learn how to read? How did people, or like, oh, well, they went to those little schoolhouses, you know, like a Little House on the Prairie. Not many of those existed. People learned from their families. They learned from their parents reading to them. They learned from their parents teaching them how to write. That's how they learned. They learned how to do math, basic sums from their parents, because their parents were teaching them while they were doing things that required math. So everything in your life is an opportunity to teach. Now, since you happen to be stuck at home and you probably stocked up on a lot of dry goods, baking. Baking is the best way to teach math, because first, you've got the overall measurements and stuff when they're younger, but then as they're older and you need to start adapting recipes and you say, well, we want to double this recipe, we want to half this recipe, we want to replace an ingredient, they need to start thinking in terms of measurements and doing math and seeing how math applies to life. Cooking in general teaches you how math and science really work in life and why they matter. And you're like, oh, okay, this is actually really useful stuff. Okay. So baking is great. Baking is really, really good. There are so many things that you can take this time to teach your children. Basic life skills are no longer taught in school. When I was in high school, they still had a thing that was similar to home economics. I don't think we called it home economics. I don't remember what we called it, but we learned how to balance a checkbook. We learned how to do a 1040 easy tax form. It was a thing that the IRS sent out to schools, and we all got like fake paperwork from our employers, and we had to do our taxes. We learned how to do our taxes in high school. We learned how to balance our checkbook. We learned how to change a tire. We learned basic sewing. We learned basic cooking. We learned basic first aid. Oddly enough, we also learned how to deliver babies. I don't know, that was a whole month of health class. I could be on call the midwife. I know how to deliver a baby. But we learned basic first aid. We learned a lot of things that are no longer taught in school that you could teach your child or you could learn with your child. There's YouTube. You can learn anything you want to know. It's on YouTube. So make use of that tool. But there are so many things that you can teach them. Are you sitting down and paying bills? Sit down with your kids and show them how online banking works and sort of explain like, okay, well, all right, so we got paid, so the money gets directly deposited into the bank account, and then these are the bills we have to pay, and this is how we pay them. And when they say, well, wait a second, you've got more bills than you have money, what the heck? Then you explain to them however your family deals with that. You can explain to them about savings. You can show them your savings account. You can show them retirement accounts. It's tax season. Talk to them about taxes because you're going to be putting together stuff for your taxes. And don't sit down like it's a lesson. Okay, come today, child, we are going to learn about how taxes work. No, in the process of just doing it, just talking about it, you're educating. Educating is less about structure and more about sharing and talking about what you're doing. Just by listening to my husband and I talk about things, my son learned so much about how home finances work, how taxes work. And then because we had a YouTube business and we have a YouTube business and we run a consulting company, my son has heard me on conference calls for years. So here's another tip. You're going to be working from home. Don't go put yourself in a room when you're doing conference calls or distance meetings and hide from your kids. People are going to be very understanding right now. So if you need to take a conference call with your kids playing in the background, you do it. I'm not saying they need to sit there quietly and listen to your very exciting business meeting. What I'm saying is that don't feel that you need to shelter them from it. They're going to pick up things. They're going to learn. Over this time, they're going to hear things and learn things about whatever it is that you do. They're going to learn all of that. My child blows my mind on a consistent basis with the things that he says and does that were never taught to him as, Caden, let me sit down and teach you about marketing 101. But because he has heard me and seen me do it for years, he does it. He just does it because he knows how to do it. Another word about teenagers, the normal circadian rhythm for a teenager is extremely different from young children and normal people, like adults. Let your teenager sleep. In the beginning, just let them get into their own sleep pattern. And you are going to find that your teenager is going to stay up way later at night than you are comfortable with, and they're going to sleep way later during the day. And depending on how quickly they're growing and how old they are, they might sleep for 12 hours and then take a nap. While sleeping a lot can be a symptom of depression, please keep dialogue open with your child. It's also a symptom of teenage. It is very, very normal. Their bodies are going through extreme changes in growth. And if I'm not making this up, just go Google it. Teenagers need way more sleep than they get in a traditional school day. Way more sleep. And there's no way teenagers should be getting up at 6:30 in the morning to go to school. No way. So just let them get on their own circadian rhythm, and then you will see that you will have a much happier, healthier, and productive teenager. So overall, I just want to say, give yourself a break. Give your kids a break. Don't think that you need to be crushing it with this homeschooling thing. Don't think that you need to be entertaining or engaging with or structuring your child. Like, just pretend that the stuff you see on Facebook and Instagram, just ignore those people. Okay, those people make me crazy. Okay, that's not real life. That's their Instagram and Facebook life. Their real life that you don't see in between those pictures are those cute videos where their kids are like making like amazing popsicles without messing up the kitchen. The reality is it's like a crap show, okay? And they're screaming and yelling and there's crying. Everybody's life is like that. So just ease up. Don't expect perfection from yourself or your children. Relax. Use this as an opportunity to slow down. The only thing that's keeping me sane through this is that I believe that perhaps this is the universe saying to everyone in the world, slow down. You're doing way too much. You need to just prioritize what matters. And what matters the most family and being together, actually interacting and engaging with each other in our families, actually talking to each other, actually doing things with our kids. Get out the board games, get out the cards. We realize that we have failed as parents. We have not taught Caden how to play poker or gin rummy. I'm so ashamed. We're going to rectify that because I can't imagine my child going into adulthood and getting invited to somebody's house and saying, hey, I'm having a poker game. You want to come? And my kid is like, I don't know how to play poker. That would be shameful. So yeah, we need to get back to some basics over here. We need to teach poker. We need to teach gin rummy. Oh, by the way, those teach math too. Shh, don't tell anybody. So use this time to just chill out and be together as a family. Stay safe, stay sane. Don't expect perfection from anyone, most especially yourself. And know that you're going to make mistakes, a lot of mistakes. And there's going to be crying and arguing. And it's all okay, because that's what family is. But there's also going to be lots of hugging, lots of snuggling, and lots of new and wonderful discoveries about each other and about the world. Thank you so much for watching. I'm still not sure where I'm going to post this, but if you do have questions about homeschooling and I post this somewhere where I can answer the questions, please feel free to ask me. I am by no means a homeschooling expert, but I can talk you off a ledge if you feel like you're losing your mind. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Bye.